Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of Unit 3. Today we're going to be talking about evaluating functions. Let's first remind ourselves about function notation. So there are 3 kind of things that we're going to talk about. So the first one is the x inside the parentheses. That is representing your x value, your independent variable, your input into the function. The f of x represents the y, or dependent variable, the output you get when you put that specific x into the function. The whole thing together is your function notation, and it is read as f of x. So we can use the function, the equation that we get, to help us determine our inputs and outputs. So what we're going to do, very similar to what we did with domain and range for the tables, if we have f of, and then there's an actual number in parentheses, that means we're going to plug in that number for the x because they gave us an x value. Okay, and we're going to use that to find what the y value is. If they just give us f of x equals a number, like it just says f of x equals 4 or something, we plug in 4 for the y because f of x is your y. And then we'll solve for the x. Okay? Oh, this is all numbered wrong. So this is actually example 1, but we'll call it 3 just for fun. Find f of negative 3 for the following function. F of x equals x squared plus 4. So they gave us a number in place of the x, the letter x. So that means they gave us the x value. We're going to take that negative 3 and we're going to plug it in for the x value here. So I'm just going to rewrite it. F of negative 3 equals negative 3 squared plus 4. And now I'm just going to go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to do negative 3 squared, and make sure I always plug it in with parentheses. Negative 3 squared just gives me 9, and then I do 9 plus 4. So f of negative 3, meaning when x is negative 3, y is 13. And that's my final answer. Okay? Now you guys try this one on your own. Okay? Now moving on to the next one. Find x, so we have to find the x, meaning we don't have it, when f of x equals 5 for the following function. So when they tell us f of x equals a number, that means they've given us the y value. So we can plug in 5 for the whole f of x part right here. So this entire side will be 5. So that's what I'm going to do. 5 equals 2x minus 6. Now I'm just going to go ahead and solve for x. So first I'm going to add 6 to both sides. These will cancel out. This gives me 11 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2. I get x equals 5.5, or 11 over 2. Depends on how you want to write it. Okay? So now you guys are going to try this on your own. Give that one a try. Our next example would be using this information to find the missing information from a graph, not an equation. So use a graph to answer the following 2 problems. Find f of negative 5. So they gave us the x value. What we're going to do is we're actually going to look at this graph and just figure out when x is 5, we're going to find that point when x is negative 5, and then tell us what the y value is for that point. So we're going to go to when x is negative 5, which is right here, and we just go on to where the graph is. So right here, at that point, that's when x is negative 5. So we just look at the y value. Oh, well, y is 1. So y equals 1. Or f of negative 5 equals 1. You could write it that way. B, find f of x equals 6. So when y is 6, what is the x value? So I go to where y is 6. Oh, right here. I'm going to plot my little point. What's the x value for that point? It's 0. So, where'd it go? It's missing now. X equals 0 is my answer. That's all I have to do for a graph. So now you guys are going to try this one on your own. This has an arrow here. There should be an arrow right here as well. Not that it matters much. So you guys are going to try to find A and B on your own. Okay? And then finally, this is the honors part. Okay? This is the extra part that honors students need to do. So we have to find what f of x minus 1 is for this function. Now, they did not tell us what x actually is. So what we're going to do is very, very similar. We're going to plug in everything in the parentheses in for x, and then we're just going to simplify. So f of x minus 1 equals negative 3 times x minus 1. I just plugged that whole expression in for x, plus 12. Now I just go ahead and solve. So I'm going to distribute the negative 3. So now I have negative 3x plus 3 plus 12. And now I'm just going to combine my like terms. That's it. These kind of things, when they don't give you a specific number, you shouldn't get a specific number as your final answer. Alright, so lastly, you guys are going to try this one on your own. And you should get an expression for it. That's my hint. Okay? Write down any questions you guys have. Otherwise, I will see you next class, and we will talk about it. Bye. Bye.